this is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady, as well as a couple stories from r/ChoosingBeggars. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, this story is called Defeating a Karen with Violence. The background. My grandmother had an emergency which was not easy to fix. New rechargeable batteries for the phone. Now, I work as an electrician for a small company on the other side of town, and decided to save gas and time. So, I went to a larger tech store about 5 minutes from where my grandma lives. Still in work clothes, no uniform, no logo, no name tag. The store uniform is a black and red shirt with logos and the store name on the back, the sleeves, and the front. Here's the cast. Karen,
manager,
and me, an annoyed 25-year-old bear. I was looking at rechargeable batteries, trying to remember if my grandma needed AA's or AAA's. That's when I heard the words that caused so many nightmares. Excuse me, are you done standing around? I need you to find me XYZ. I just looked at her for a second, ready to blow up after 10 hours of entitled clients when it hit me. My niece just discovered the word why. It's frustrating, it's perfect. So I put on my goofiest smile and the following conversation ensued. Why?
because it's your job.
Why?
Because you work here.
Why?
You wear work clothes. You work here. You have to help me.
Why?
Stop this BS or I will get you fired.
Why? Now, at this point, an actual employee came into the aisle to see what the yelling was about. Her face said nope and she left. I continued my act of violence with my goofy smile when the employee came back with the manager.
Ma'am, I have to ask you to stop yelling. It's disturbing other customers.
Took you long enough. I want this moron fired or at least written up for how he treated me.
He doesn't work here. He doesn't even wear a uniform. Why would you think he works here? Now, you either apologize to him or you leave the store.
Why do I have to apologize? He never said he didn't work here. Why would I?
You are all morons. I will call corporate about this.
With that, she stormed off. But I couldn't help myself.
Why?
After that, the manager apologized and bought the batteries for my grandmother. No cops, no coupons, just a fun story. There is so much we can learn from little kids. Now, we've seen many a Karen's downfall. However, the way this man executed it was beyond masterful. I now name him the lead tactician on the anti-Karen task force. If I'm allowed to do that, I'm not entirely sure if I am. But if I am, good job, man. If not, then I embarrassed myself. This story is called I Have a Resting Retail Face, I guess. I worked at a popular craft store chain for about a year and dealt with plenty of nice people as well as plenty of morons. But since I stopped working there, I've been mistaken for an employee at many places a lot more often. I think part of it has to do with the fact that I might spend a while looking at a few different options for any given product to see what's best for the price. As I know many people, after buying an item once, will get the same thing every subsequent time they need to buy it. I don't know. I like to really know my options. I also put things back where I found them rather than leaving them on a random shelf or on the floor. Now, that's important because showing a tiny bit of respect for the hard work people who restock do must mean I work there. So I'm at a store I'll refer to as Damnly Fowler, sells a bit of everything at a very cheap price, perfect for me, a college student. And an older gentleman comes up to me and asks if there's any more X item in the back. I try to be very polite, but I was caught a bit off guard, so I said, "I'm sorry, I wouldn't know." He just responds with, "Okay," and leaves. I glance over and see that he's going back to who I assume was his wife. I guess he told her what I said and she was not pleased because she shot me the dirtiest look. I had a can of SpaghettiOs in my basket, but I realized they weren't the normal kind, so I put them back. So, Saggy Bench comes over and says to me, "So how is it you're restocking but you don't know if you have any more of this item?" I was really confused and got really anxious because some random woman was upset with me and I don't know what to do. I had a stutter that usually isn't a problem for me anymore, but when I'm nervous, it kind of comes out. So what I said kind of came out like, I'm not restocking. She responded by mocking my stutter.
I'm not restocking.
The husband spoke up and was like,
Honey, I don't think he works here.
but she got very defensive and insisted I did and that I just didn't want to look in the back for them. She said some dumb BS like, I know how the employees here are. The lazy a-holes. You don't want to promote that image, do you? I felt really sick from this encounter so far, and I hate to admit it, but I started crying a little. The husband got really upset at his wife and was telling her to drop it. Finally, he asked me,
Buddy, do you even work here?
and I shook my head no, and he shouted,
Come on, Mel, really?
very aggravated at his wife. They finally left me alone, and I called my mom to tell her what happened so I could at least try to laugh about it. And they were all out of regular SpaghettiOs, but it's okay. PB&J will suffice. Okay, that's just kind of sad. That woman is really mean, and I'm glad the husband said something about it. Jeez. Alright, this story is called, Can I Have All Your Contacts? After getting laid off from our production house, a colleague of mine started his own media production company. He didn't have any clients or reels to show off, but my friends outside of work and I shot a lot of short films, music videos, and events on the side. So, we worked out a deal. I'd invite him to the productions, we would use some of his gear, and he could put his branding on the front of the video and get credit where posted. Slowly, he started getting small paying clients himself and kept me on to produce and film. A side job for me as I wasn't laid off. I kept my fees for him low as he was still getting off the ground and it was simple stuff. One day, he got a request to do a music video and negotiated a fee for nearly $10,000. Way overpriced for what he could deliver. It also required multiple locations, actors, lighting grids, makeup. This would be a big project for him and he was in way over his head. I've worked on much bigger projects and had contacts to make this manageable. I lined up locations for free, actors and crew who agreed to reduced rates as a favor to me and because they were building their own reels and portfolios. My colleague was incredibly happy that I pulled this off and kept the overhead so low, allowing his business to pocket 80% of the production fee. 2 days before filming, he sent over the budget breakdown. He cut all the fees to the actor, denying them even gas money. He was only willing to offer the lighting guys and makeup person $50 each from the $250 I negotiated as a favor. And my $800 fee for setting all this up, producing and filming, became $75. What is this? You've reduced everyone's rates below their lowest price points?
I have a business to run. I can't pay your friends these prices.
My friends are why you even have the reels to show clients. Normally, they get paid a lot more as these are their careers. We got them cheaply as a favor to me and you agreed to pay, as this is your first real gig.
Well, I just bought a new car yesterday and I have bills to pay.
That is not my problem. We cannot shortchange people for your bills. I'm off the project if you're gonna act like this. It's insulting and you're pinching a penny while being paid $1.
Flip you, I need this. You're being selfish.
I put in all the work, got everything lined up, and gave you an 80% profit. I'm out. Everyone else is out as I'm writing them that this is canceled and why. A few hours later,
Okay, if you're out, that'll free up some money. What are the cast and crew's contact info? Can we still film at the locations? Who do I contact for those?
I never wrote back. He tried writing other friends I previously introduced him to come on board for free. On the first day of filming, he showed up to the one location he knew of, but it was locked as the location manager took the weekend off, no longer having to do any favors. He ended up filming the music video in random spots near his parents' home and in his own basement. As a bit of silver lining, the client never paid him for the project as the final video looked horrible and included nothing they agreed on. They settled out of court for $1,500. Man, all those people did so much as a favor to him and he just screwed them all over? Okay, that's just one very crappy dude. Okay, next. This story is called, Thank you for fixing the Wi-Fi. Can I have the new password? I keep seeing other posts about their neighbors stealing Wi-Fi and I thought I would add mine. Mine is a bit unusual. A little background. I'm an uber geek. I've been an IT person since 1993 and have a lot of very high-end equipment I use at home. I purchase business-grade equipment, often instead of consumer-grade equipment. More expensive, but it works a lot better, and has some cool features. So, when I moved into my last home we were renting, our landlord also ran a small business. He just had a single computer he used very rarely for internet access. I was getting FiOS installed into the house and told him that I would set up my equipment. And then, instead of having to pay for DSL, which was very slow, he could just use my Wi-Fi because it would be super fast. So, I proceeded to get my FiOS service and then set up my 2 access points on different channels, but with the same name so you can roam around the house and outside the whole yard and have great coverage. I then take my landlord's computer and connect it to my Wi-Fi, and he is just happy as happy could be. Here is where the choosing beggar comes from. As part of this, my landlord turns off his DSL and sends back the cruddy DSL router with Wi-Fi to the telephone provider. A few days later, I hear a bang, bang, bang on my back door. I open it up and find my neighbor, aka Charlie Brown. I give him a confused look. "Hello, Charlie Brown?" And then ensues an awkward silence. "Hey, I wanted to know when you were going to get the internet fixed." "My internet is working fine. Why are you in my backyard?" He looks around. "I always come through the backyard here. I'm friends with your neighbor on the other side and I always walk through the backyard as a shortcut." "Doesn't matter. I'm wanting." I cut him off. "Don't walk through my backyard. My wife will get scared. I have a Great Dane that if she's in the backyard, she's not going to be happy you just walking in. And I don't want you to get hurt or her to get out." "I don't care about your dog. I want to know why your internet is not working." "My internet is working fine. In fact, I'm using it right now." "Well, it's not working for me." At this point, it dawns on me what he's saying. I guess I was slow that day. I had thought he came over because his internet wasn't working, and he figured I knew why because mine wasn't working either. He was an older man and kind of gruff with his conversational skills, but it finally dawns on me at this point. I make sure to ask him to clarify. "Are you saying your internet is not working and you're wondering if mine isn't working also?" "No, my internet was working fine until a few days ago. Now the Wi-Fi that I used to connect to isn't there anymore. But I see a really strong other Wi-Fi named redacted." "Ah, I see. The Wi-Fi that you used to connect to was landlord's Wi-Fi for business. I didn't know he gave you the password, but he no longer has that service. The only Wi-Fi left in this house is mine." "I see. Well, thank you for making the Wi-Fi a lot better. I used to hardly get a signal before, but now when I look at Wi-Fis in this area, I see a full 5 bars for me new one." "That is great. I just need the new password." "Now, I'm not giving you my Wi-Fi password. You need to get your own internet service." "What? You have to. I had the old Wi-Fi password. You have to give me your Wi-Fi password." "No, I don't. I pay for the internet connection here. I am not giving you my Wi-Fi password." "Fudge umbrella crunch kite you. I'm gonna call landlord and tell him he needs to kick you out." "Have fun with that. By the way, stay out of my backyard, or I'm going to let my dog out next time and call the cops." So I close the door as he's just fuming at me and watch through the window as he marches out the backyard back to his yard. Of course, he doesn't close the fence all the way, so I go out there in a few minutes and close it. I also pick up my phone and call my landlord to let him know what is going on. My landlord tells me he didn't even know that the neighbor was using his Wi-Fi. Anyway, the story doesn't end there. A few days later, I start getting notifications from my access points that someone is trying to break in. This is another great feature of the business class equipment that I have. It sent me a notice that a device at MAC address is trying to use a program to guess my password. Being an uber geek, my Wi-Fi password is 15 characters long with upper, lower, and numbers. So he's probably not guessing it anytime soon. Just to be on the safe side, I actually block his Mac from connecting to my access points at all, and also disable the broadcasting of the name. That weekend, I'm out of my front yard with my laptop doing some work. My neighbor sees me and starts talking to me much more friendly this time. "I noticed that your Wi-Fi is no longer online. I guess that landlord made you take it down, eh? Serves you right." I look at him with a bit of a confused face, because I'm working on my laptop. which obviously means I would be connected to some type of Wi-Fi. But I guess he doesn't think this way. No, it's working fine. I talked to landlord and he just laughed when I told him the story. I'm not seeing your Wi-Fi anymore, so I know you're lying. I changed it so that it's not broadcasting the name anymore. The way you keep trying to break into it, it was sending me emails that you were trying to. That wasn't me. It was probably someone else. Anyway, you should give me a password. It's not fair that I used to use the old Wi-Fi here, now I can't use the new one. It's not fair or legal that you were stealing the Wi-Fi that used to be here. By the way, I put up a camera in my backyard, just to make sure you don't try to go through there again. If I see that you have been in my backyard, I will be turning over the footage to the police as you would be trespassing, and I will press charges.
Hockey puck you, man!
He ended up walking back into his house while I was still in the front yard. I would run across him from time to time after that, walking on the sidewalk in front of my house to get to his friend's house on the other side, always glaring at me. I just waved and laughed. I talked to his friend one day about the whole situation, and he told me that Charlie Brown had come up to him and complained that I wouldn't give him my password. And he told Charlie Brown to buy his own internet connection and stop being a cheapskate. Okay, that's gross. I know it's not the same situation, but it makes me think of when you're using your charger and someone wants to borrow it, so they ask you what percentage your phone is on. But it's your charger. I don't know, I just don't like that entitled mentality. It's just gross. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.